Help keep Kinks and Beats Daily ad-free and receive bonus content early with a contribution of 20 cents per episode. Visit herohabit.com/shop for more information. Welcome to Kinks and Beats Daily. I'm your host, Tony Fry. Thank you for downloading episode 129. 129 episodes. If you haven't done so already and you're enjoying this podcast, go swing by iTunes and leave me a 5-star rating and review. Helps us get new listeners and improves our ranking, and all of that is good for the podcast. If you don't like this podcast, don't leave a review, please. All right, so today we're talking about a Ringo Starr solo song, a late-era Ringo Starr solo song called Choose Love, which was released June 7th, 2005 on the album by the same name. So this is the title track on Ringo's 14th solo studio album. So at this point, it took him, what would that be, 35 years? No, 80, 90, 35 years. But he's finally out-albumed the Beatles. And this song, so we've talked about Vertical Man before, which was an album, 2 albums preceding this one. They had Mark Hudson on production. It had a whole bunch of guest stars. I think it's Ringo's best solo album, period. I said it. I stand by it. I think as far as just well-crafted pop tunes go, that one, there's no misses really on that one. It's a solid pop album with good musicianship and good production, and I think it's great. And Ringo did more albums with that same team. So this one is another album with Mark Hudson helping with the songwriting and the production and playing a lot of the instruments and all that kind of stuff. So you would think that it would sound a lot like Vertical Man and be of similar quality. And you'd be half right. There are elements to this album as a whole that do sound a lot like Vertical Man, but the quality of the songs doesn't quite stack up. Choose Love, the title track, it's one of those songs I have mixed feelings about it, because it's not a bad tune, and it's sort of exactly what people would expect from Ringo at this point. The band sounds good. It's a cool arrangement. The production is solid. You know, it's slick. It's maybe, bordering on overproduced, but I don't think it crosses that line. But the words are so trite that it treads dangerously close to just becoming a novelty song. This is like a pastiche of 1966 Beatles. And what makes the words so trite really is Ringo's constant references to Beatles songs. He references Tomorrow Never Knows and The Long and Winding Road and What Goes On. And then his own solo song, It Don't Come Easy, maybe one of his, most well-known songs. He uses the line, "You've got to pay your dues if you want to sing the blues," which is, just a throwaway line on It Don't Come Easy. He's using it as the basis for the entire chorus on this. So he repeats it every time he sings the chorus. We hear this line that he used 35 years prior on It Don't Come Easy. Now, I get maybe having your tongue in cheek and paying tribute to your past, but it can be done in, I don't know, a less hokey kind of way, and without, this doesn't feel like he's, having a laugh. It feels like it's a deliberate attempt to sound like the Beatles. And when you were one of them, that sound should come organically, and this sounds very forced on this album. The song opens with a guitar riff, kind of a cool guitar riff, and when the band kicks in, it turns into Taxman. The bass lines from Taxman, they've got these real stabby chords in the background that are very like Taxman or She's a Woman, but it's a straight up, there's no confusing what they're going for here. And like I said, the whole thing feels like a pastiche of 1966, 67 Beatles. This is like a Ruddles track. Good track. But it's almost an imitation. And I don't think a Beatle needs to imitate the Beatles. You were the Beatles. And so, along with that, it feels like we have to endure a lot with Ringo, this notion that he has to remind us that he was in that band. And we know the only reason we're buying this album is because you were in that band. So I don't know. It's got some moments, but it's on the whole, I don't know. I have a hard time digging into this one. And like I said, I want to like it because I love Vertical Man. I think that album is phenomenal. And Choose Love has some really great moments on it as an album, as well as just this song. But it just does not do it for me on the same level that Vertical Man does. So I guess that's it. This is a short episode because I don't really have anything to say about it. Harmonically, it's there's nothing really fancy to write home about. I don't even think it's worth going into. But we have a job to do on this podcast to get into every single song that was released by these folks, and sometimes there's just not much to say about it. This is good, not great. You can listen to it on the Spotify playlist if you search for Kinks and Beats or Hero Habit on Spotify. And of course, you can find links to all that stuff if you go to herohabit.com. Under the podcast button, click Kinks and Beats Daily, and you will find a way to contribute to this podcast to keep it ad-free, a link to the Spotify playlist, a directory of all the songs we've covered separated by album so that you can go and find out what songs that you love that have been covered. And a bunch of articles that we've written about the Kinks and the Beatles and all that kind of stuff. So swing by Hero Habit and do that. And give me a call. Maybe I'm off base on this one. Maybe the constant referring back to Beatles songs is part of the charm and why you love this song. I don't know. Let me know if I'm wrong by calling 925-494-1739 or emailing me at kinksandbeats@herohabit.com. I'm not playing them on the individual episodes anymore. I'm compiling them all, and we're just going to do listener mail episodes as bonus content. When I've got a few stockpiled, then we will do that as a bonus episode and talk about it and all that kind of stuff. So get a hold of me. I'd like to hear what you think about this song, about any song really. And since we are not connecting it to a particular episode, you can call me about any song that qualifies for this podcast, whether we've done it or not, because we're going to get to them all eventually. All right. So I guess this is a short one. I will talk to you guys tomorrow with a cool Kinks song. One of my favorite little rarities, actually. So make sure you download and subscribe. Go to iTunes and hit subscribe. Google, hit subscribe. Spotify, hit subscribe. And leave a 5-star rating and review. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye. This podcast is presented by the Hero Habit Podcast Network. Swing by herohabit.com today to comment on this episode and poke around our growing database of sports and pop culture news, reviews, and collectibles. herohabit.com. Collect your heroes.